Mr. Geraldo Rivera resigns, and he says, I can't buck this system. I don't like the way this works, and it's not for me. I'm a real journalist. I have my standards, and this is below my standards because they won't release this information that we have about Kennedy's and Marilyn Monroe. By the way, too, previously, they let him run the Zapruder film. They had him come on with, what was that, Rodin, that guy, and it's the Dick Gregory, okay? They came on, and they ran he's the first guy to run the Zapruder film. He's the first guy to talk about AIDS on TV. But they wouldn't let him talk about the Kennedys, and he was outraged, and he left. Later on, he says, well, the reason why, in 2015, he says, the reason why they fired me is because I made a $200 donation to a nonpartisan mayoral race and candidate. And that's why I violated policy. But he left in 285 with information in his head about a relationship between the Kennedys and Marilyn Monroe. He had the information. Has he ever released it since then on another platform? He's aware of it now. Well, it was another reporter's segment, but bring her on as a guest. Hey, let's talk about that situation. What's your evidence about the Kennedys and this woman, Marilyn Monroe? What do you know? I remember what you told me at the time. I remember the reports you showed me. I have the information. But that information went to the grave with Marilyn Monroe and the Kennedys. Why is that? Whose interest would it be to keep that quiet? Well, the Kennedy dynasty, right? And the Kennedy dynasty has what? A lot of what? A lot of money and a lot of power. No? Is this Ed Opperman coming up with a crazy theory? Is this Ed Opperman making things up? What do you call it? I was a guest on True and On, right? I'm reading some comments online about, well, I don't believe everything has. You got to take them with a grain of salt. Now, everything I just said to you could find if you did the work. Okay, I'm not making up who Lynn Wood is. You can read his tweets yourself. Okay, you can look up. Geraldo's island in Puerto Rico was called Geraldo Key. Okay, it was near Vieques. Okay, he had a helicopter take him to work every day. Okay, he owned the newspaper. I could find it for you. You can look it up. You can look up all this stuff yourself. You don't need Ed Opperman making things up. And this part's a theory. He's got this information in 1985, and suddenly, by 1987, this guy's... He leaves in 1985, right? By 1987, he's not working for 2 years, not making any money. But by 1987, now he's producing shows. Geraldo, the talk show in the afternoon, right? And by the way, too, I actually went to that talk show, by the way. I attended in the audience 2 times because my girlfriend used to be able to get tickets to go to Ricky Lake and all that stuff, and Geraldo and any of the shows in New York. They were all filmed around 57th Street, around the same place. And then we would go to Victor's Cafe afterward and we get some good Cuban food. So we were familiar with the process. Go in, they'd say, "Oh, clap and do this," but you got to be quiet. If you have a question, wait till the break, and then raise your hand. They'll come over and we'll prepare you for the question. You can't just stand up during the thing, start yelling out questions. Same process in every show, except for Geraldo Rivera. And Geraldo Rivera, at the beginning of the show, you'd walk in and they'd seat you down. And they'd say, no, leave that one empty. Leave that seat empty. That one's reserved. And then a few minutes before filming, about 8 beautiful girls would come walking in, right? 19, 20 years old, and sit in those seats. These were spotters, in the audience, seat fillers, women who got to ask questions, ringers, okay, models that were brought in. To sit in the audience there for Geraldo. By the way, too, an interesting story about how you could look it up in my archives about David Copperfield, who had a similar process too of targeting women in the audience and offering them opportunities and taking them to his island. Okay. So, 1985, The story gets buried. By 1987, he's got all this money now. He's producing his own show on TV. He's got a helicopter. He's living out this wonderful, I think it was in New Jersey at the time he was living. You know, they need helicopter in every day to work back and forth. And he's got bought a ownership in a newspaper, mansion here, big giant mansion. This guy went from unemployed to loaded. Suddenly, he's rich enough. Let me see what time we got here. Oh, take a little commercial break. What do I say? I say we'll be right back after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
Tina Helmuth is writing an ongoing series of fact-fiction books that boldly takes on today's most heinous crimes. Suffer the Little Children, The Wrath of the Father, and Unbreakable. Deeply researched and mixed with the supernatural, good versus evil makes these thrillers hard to put down. Available at lulu.com in paperback or ebook.
If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents, they handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. Hey, don't forget our new sponsor, SilkCityHotSauce.com. They sent me 8 bottles of hot sauce, man. It's always great, okay? It's definitely not too hot, that's for sure. Someone's really hot, but, but a lot of it's really good. And if you go to SilkCityHotSauce.com and you put in promo code ED, you get a free bottle of hot sauce. And these are really big bottles of hot sauce, too. And the other thing, too, is you get 15% off your order. So we're talking about Geraldo Rivera, and you got to check out his book called Exposing Myself. It came out in the 90s. Now, in one of these stories, right, a lot of these involved young girls that worked for him. All right? I'm going to read you one of these stories. All right. About a boiler room where we would go and have sex every day. And I think this was at in the Geralso show. It could have been ABC. I discovered the room on an impulse born of necessity. By the way, he has this flowery way of writing that he's just so full of himself. It's disgusting. I discovered the room on an impulse born of necessity. I had two cute and young women working for me at the time, college co-eds from out of town who were infatuated with the television news business and their proximity to the local star of the day. They were attractive and dedicated, and after a short time, the infatuation became mutual. On one unusually slow news day, things heated up to where all indications suggested an urgent need for privacy. We found it in the boiler room, and from that day forward, the three of us would regularly disappear there. All we had in the way of furniture was a chair, which made our entanglements daunting and creative, but we were always up to the challenge. Then he goes on to talk about how he took these two women to that same boiler room to celebrate the birth of his baby. He felt he deserved it. Okay, now, a lot of people know the name Cece, his wife Cece. Well, he met her. She was an assistant working for him when they got together. Then when he got tired of her and he was cheating on another young lady with her, the other woman came to work for him and became his assistant, and Cece was divorced. Just some real low-life behavior from this guy who has no boundaries. He's got no boundaries. And somehow now today, this life of no sexual boundaries has taken him to a place where he's living now in Ohio, Shaker Heights, the stomping grounds of Lex Wexner. He's hanging out with Mr. Donald Trump, 15-year-long friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He's defending Harvey Weinstein. He's defending Matt Lauer. He defended Ailes, Roger Ailes, at Fox News. I stand with Ailes. Okay? And by the way, when he was having the affair with his wife Sherry, Cece was working there too in 2020. This must have happened all in 2020 with this thing with these two girls. And he's defending now Ghislaine Maxwel, saying, well, she'd be out on bail. I don't have any quote of what he said about Dershowitz, but I'm sure it's pretty much up there, the same type of defense. And once again, too, I was talking about that TrueAnon. There's some TrueAnon comments where there's claims that I gave a full-throated endorsement of Dershowitz. Okay, I would love to find anything close to any kind of endorsement or acceptance of Dershowitz and his behavior. I'm the guy who first reported, okay, the young man, I'm the guy who first reported that Dershowitz was in a lawsuit over these allegations with him, and he paid to sell to them. In fact, I took a picture of it. I post it all the time. You should listen to what I say, not what's rattling around in your head. Anyway, that's quite a bit on Geraldo Rivera, right? And we've only got about 10 minutes left. And I wouldn't mind telling you, okay, that I had kind of a rough day today. Okay, we had a real scare today. Yesterday was New Year's Eve. I was supposed to be a guest on a podcast starting at 11 p.m. So, I had a long day, my usual day at work. I had taped a couple of shows and doing what I got to do. And so I said, well, let's go out and grab a cup of coffee and a sandwich so I'll be awake for this freaking thing tonight at 11 o'clock. And then I contact them. They say it's 4 hours long. So I'm waiting for 11 o'clock to come. And I'm sitting here in this chair. I'm drinking this coffee.